The arrest of Australian man Lamar Ahchee in Bali has become one of the most closely watched international legal cases of 2025. At 43 years old, the Cairns-born hospitality worker and tech entrepreneur is facing the grim possibility of the death penalty after Indonesian authorities accused him of attempting to traffic cocaine onto the holiday island. While the allegations are severe and the evidence appears incriminating on the surface, there are growing indications that Lamar may ultimately escape the firing squad, depending on how the courts interpret the details of his arrest and his role in the case. Lamar was taken into custody on May 22, 2025, during a sting operation conducted by Bali's narcotics police and customs officials. The operation was triggered when two suspicious parcels from the United Kingdom were intercepted upon arrival at Ngurah Rai International Airport. Scans of the packages revealed inconsistencies, and further inspection allegedly uncovered 1.8 kilograms of cocaine concealed in an unusual fashion. The drugs were packed into two gold lint chocolate boxes, with the cocaine disguised inside dozens of small truffle-style wrappers. Rather than immediately confiscating the parcels, Indonesian authorities carried out a controlled delivery. One parcel was addressed to Alex and Julie in Kuta Utara near Canggu, while the other was addressed to Dave Jones at a nearby location. On May 22nd, police claimed that Lamar arranged for a driver to collect the packages. After meeting the driver at a restaurant, he allegedly took possession of the parcels and returned with them to his rental apartment in Canggu. It was there that officers moved in, arresting him and allegedly finding the cocaine inside. Authorities allege that Lamar was promised 50 million rupiah, equivalent to just under 5,000 Australian dollars, in exchange for receiving and distributing the narcotics. With the street value of the drugs estimated at more than $1.1 million, the promise of such a relatively small payout has led investigators to believe that Lamar was not a major player in the operation, but rather a low-level participant tasked with receiving the shipment. Regardless of his place in the hierarchy, Indonesian law makes little distinction when it comes to drug trafficking, and possession of more than 5 grams of cocaine can carry the death penalty. With nearly 2 kilograms allegedly in his possession, Lamar's legal jeopardy is severe. From the outset, Lamar has denied that he knowingly participated in a smuggling operation. His lawyer, Edward Pankahila, has consistently maintained that Lamar had no idea the parcels contained narcotics. According to his account, Lamar was deceived by a man known only as Boss, a mysterious figure from the United Kingdom who allegedly instructed him to pick up the packages. Lamar claims that he believed the delivery contained ordinary goods and that he was manipulated into becoming the unwitting recipient of contraband. Lamar's insistence that he was unaware of the parcel's true contents is bolstered by details of his personal struggles. He tested positive for drug use while in custody and admitted to police that he had battled addiction. When police searched his apartment, they found digital scales and small plastic bags. Although investigators suggested these items pointed to trafficking, Lamar explained that they were part of his personal drug use. His lawyer has argued that the distinction between an addict and a trafficker is crucial. Under Indonesian law, defendants identified as addicts may be offered rehabilitation or lighter sentences, whereas traffickers face life imprisonment or even death. Lamar's family in Australia was blindsided by the arrest, finding out about it through media reports rather than directly from him. His mother and sister later flew to Bali to visit him, meeting with him in police custody. In an emotional conversation, Lamar reportedly apologised to his mother for the situation. In an unusual step, his sister Stephanie held a press conference in Denpasar to address the case publicly. Rather than criticising Indonesian authorities or appealing directly for leniency, she offered gratitude to officials for their professionalism and fairness in handling the case. She stated that the family was appreciative of the respectful treatment Lamar had received, and she emphasised their trust in Indonesia's judicial process. This statement was widely seen as a careful effort to maintain goodwill with the Indonesian government, a strategy that could prove important in a country where public and diplomatic perception can influence sentencing outcomes. Lamar's arrest comes against the backdrop of one of the most infamous drug cases in modern Australian-Indonesian history, the Bali Nine. That case, involving 9 Australians who attempted to smuggle heroin out of Indonesia in 2005, ended in the executions of ringleaders Andrew Chan and Muran Sukumaran in 2015, while other members of the group received long prison terms. For many Australians, those executions left a painful scar on the national memory, and for Indonesia, they reaffirmed the state's uncompromising stance against narcotics. The comparisons are difficult to avoid. Lamar's case echoes the Bali Nine, not only because of his Australian nationality, but also because of the scale of the drugs involved. However, unlike the Bali Nine ringleaders, Lamar does not appear to have been a central organiser. Instead, the evidence so far suggests he may have been manipulated into acting as a courier for someone else's operation. Despite the severity of the allegations, several factors suggest that Lamar may avoid Indonesia's ultimate punishment. Firstly, the country has not carried out an execution since 2016, and there are signs that the government is moving away from capital punishment, at least in practice. Sentences of death are still handed down, but increasingly they are commuted to life imprisonment after appeals or presidential clemency. Secondly, Lamar's defence strategy, portraying him as an addict used by more powerful figures, may persuade the court to impose a lighter sentence. By presenting him not as a trafficker motivated by greed, but as a vulnerable individual manipulated into his role, his legal team hopes to distinguish his case from those of major drug syndicate leaders. Finally, diplomatic considerations cannot be ignored. Past executions of Australians strained relations between Canberra and Jakarta, leading to international outcry. While Indonesia remains firm on its anti-drug stance, the government is likely aware of the potential fallout of executing another Australian citizen. For now, Lamar Ahchee's fate rests with the Indonesian courts. He faces the possibility of a death sentence, life behind bars, or a lengthy prison term. His defence continues to argue that he was tricked into participating in a smuggling operation by a mysterious figure known only as Boss, while prosecutors maintain that the drugs were found in his possession and that his role was clear. As his trial approaches, the world will be watching closely, waiting to see whether Indonesia reaffirms its harshest penalties or opts for a more measured outcome. Lamar remains in custody, supported by his family, and under the close watch of both the Indonesian legal system and the Australian government. While his future is uncertain, there are growing indications that he may avoid the firing squad, though a long and difficult road still lies ahead. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this case below in the comments. If you want more stories from the Australian underworld, please consider subscribing and liking this video. It really helps me out and helps the channel grow. Till next time, take care.